You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conroe Culture News at Lone Star Community Radio, FM 104.5, 106.1. I am your host, Margie Taylor, and we're going to talk about things that are important to you in Conroe and surrounding areas in Montgomery County today. And of course, we're on our City TV, Suddenlink, and there will be an archive of this show. It will be on irlonestar.com later today, tomorrow, or sometime this week. So you can always go back and review it. This show is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic Center, and they are located at 3303 West Davis by Conroe High School. And please go in there and check them out. If you have a back, you have a need. So go by and see Roger Stein Chiropractic Center. So are you looking to have more adventures this year in 2019? So everybody makes goals at the beginning of the year. And, maybe one of them is just to enjoy life more. Well, you need to go to downtown Conroe. There's a lot going on. And of course, it's music friendly. It's one of the four cities in the state of Texas that is music friendly. So there's music every single day, and it starts with Sunday brunch at the Red Brick Tavern. You can listen to the Jim Sloan Band play while you're having a special menu prepared just for you on Sundays. The Players Theater Company will have their first show. It's 3-week engagement at the Owen Theater, Lost in Yonkers, and that starts this Friday at 8 p.m. They have another performance Saturday at 8 and then Sunday at 2 for the next 3 weeks, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's an outstanding performance. And be sure and get tickets online at owentheater.com. If you're a little stressed from the mad rush of the holidays and having a hard time getting into the sync of things, you can also go to Clear Choice Acupuncture and Wellness on Thompson Street. I can actually see their office directly across from where we are at the Lone Star Community Radio studio here. I can see their sign. It's a maroon sign, but you can check into them. They are located on Simonton, and they can help you relieve migraines, pain, lower cholesterol, blood pressure. They just make you feel good. So check them out for a healthier you in 2019. Also, did you know that Vernell's Bakery is open now at the new Bean Punk Coffee, which used to be Conroe Coffee? So they have a bakery and coffee. What a great partnership. And they are on Main Street, right across from the courthouse on the east side of the courthouse. So go in there, say hi to Leo, Jason, and get your king cake. Say hi to Linda, too. She's the baker. And that's 330 North Main on the east side of the courthouse. So currently going on right now, the Conroe Art League's 2019 12 by 12 Gala Auction. You can go online at conroeartleague.org and find out about how you can bid on these different pictures, 12 by 12s. And that all goes to their student show that happens on May the 4th. So that's a great opportunity. Shop local whenever you can. Now, the gallery is also open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 10 to 5. So if you haven't been in there, they have a new exhibit every single month. And the second Saturday of the month, they always have an open, kind of an open house, open exhibit. And that's usually 5 to 8 on the second Saturday of the month. So with that, we're going to talk about who our guests are on the show today. We have Jody Czajkoski. He's a councilman for the city of Conroe. Maria Jordan, she's with Texas Familias Council. And Nora Coulter she's going to talk about eating disorders support. So our first guest today is Jody Czajkoski. How are you, Jody?
I'm good, Margie. How are you?
Did I catch you off? So you are city council, and you are one of the newest city council, along with Raymond McDonald. And you've been in your current role for working on a year, but not quite. So probably 7 months, 8 months, somewhere in that frame, correct? Something like that?
8 months of joy.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
8 months of joy.
And I want to tell you, welcome back to the great state of Texas. I hear you had a wonderful vacation in Hawaii, and
I did.
Looking good.
Yes, it was a lot of fun, but you come back to Texas. So That's where we live. So
Always come back to God's country.
that's absolutely right. Took a while to get here back, but I made it.
We're glad you're back home.
So it's always nice to sit here on the radio in downtown Conroe. Although I wish the sun would come out today. That makes it a lot better. Did you see the moon last night?
I did. It was beautiful.
That red moon. Oh, man, that was amazing. And to see it eclipse and turn into red. So it was a big full moon, and then it started to get that shading of the red on there. I kept going back and checking it every 10 minutes. It was kind of fun.
It means it's going to be a good year.
It's going to be a good year. Yes, absolutely. I'm very excited about this year.
Happy New Year's.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you. So now that you're in this position, what do you think?
We're having
How's it going?
We're having a good time. We're having a good time.
You're having a good time.
having a
Good,
good time.
good. So some of it's stressful, though, I'm sure.
Well, I mean,
Not really?
Anything worth working for in life is going to have a little
Here,
stress.
push
but
the mic towards you
there
a little
go.
bit. There you
Is
go.
that better?
Yeah. So,
Get a little closer.
what do you have specific roles on city council?
Specific roles?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Or I know everybody works together, but is it fragmented? I know it's not geotagged. It's everybody works together, but do you have a special interest on city council?
Yeah, we're open position, so every council member serves every citizen in Conroe. There's no specific precincts. What's happened with this council is we've got a wonderful crew. You've got a very diverse backgrounds on our council. You've got Raymond McDonald, who's new to the council. He's a local pastor, background in urban planning, and has been a famous musician, and
Oh, yes.
very involved with downtown, very involved with our local church and charity community, and charities here in the community, and has been wonderful from that aspect. You've got Duke Kuhn on there. His background is in appraisal. They appraise large oil and gas platforms, multi-million-dollar platforms. So Duke's very good at watching the budget and watching every penny that goes through the city. Seth Gibson's the one of the elder statesmen, and he's of old Conroe, been around here longer than all of us, born and raised in Conroe, not a transplant, and seen where Conroe was 50 years ago and where it's going, and has wonderful vision. And his background and day job had been a surveyor, so very good on the land development side as well. Councilman Dwayne Ham, somewhat of an entrepreneur, background in construction and development, and there's a lot of growth going on, a lot of development, a lot of construction. So it's good to have a guy on your team that understands the nuts and bolts of the industry. And the same with our wonderful mayor, Toby Powell. His background, he's old Conroe, been around here for a while, Conroe High graduate, and had been in the construction industry as well. So with any team that creates unity and works together, everyone has different skill sets. So there's no appointed roles right there, but we work very well together.
So it's a good spectrum of different people that come from strong backgrounds that can bring their skill sets. And of course, you all work together on whatever the issue is. And I know that one of the biggest issues seems to be lately, I believe it was in the front page of the paper yesterday, was about Signorelli Corporation and building and residential communities and the street width.
Correct. I wouldn't say that really didn't have anything to do with the developer, and I wouldn't say that's an issue or a problem. In my world,
It's something to talk about.
We
That's
got
all.
you got about 27,000 people in the world will die of lack of
Right,
clean drinking
right,
water
right,
and
right.
starve today. That's a problem. That's the issue. No, what's happening in all development, big picture, we're trying to bring the cost of housing down for young families. That's it. End of conversation. Bring the cost of housing down. If you look at our country, most cities were really modeled. Modern cities were modeled after what happened in Detroit after World War II. Big roads, big bridges, large buildings, massive infrastructure. Well, as we all know, as cities shrink and contract, somebody has to upkeep all that. So if you go to the new development guidelines of what's going on in the rest of the country, things are getting smaller, and for a good reason. if you go back and look at our new downtown Conroe development plan,
Which is wonderful.
which is wonderful, absolutely.
is.
But if you read through that, one of the things they discuss is bringing the size of the streets down, slowing traffic down to where they stop at your shops, they spend more money, and they don't run over kids because the cars are going slower. So it's happening. That
Safety.
Safety. So if you look at in the past, the heated discussions over the last couple of months have been over the minimum lot size. We took the minimum lot size of a home builder can build on here from a minimum of 50 foot wide to 40 foot wide. Reason being, it reduces your cost. It reduces your price of a single family home for a resident. And if you do the research on what a lot of the young millennials are looking for, and a lot of the baby boomers are looking for the same product, they don't want a 2,500 square foot home anymore. They don't want a quarter acre
correct.
lot. They want something smaller.
Townhomes are really selling well right now.
Townhomes,
They're
patio
hot.
homes, and these 40 footers are,
Yep.
or more of a what you would grow up calling a patio home, but more of a traditional family house. And it's a smaller lot. It takes less grass and less water to take care of that grass. So that all has to do with bringing those lot costs down. And what happens is you have, they're talking Signorelli right now. You have one developer, but that's one guy. Once you implement and let the city of Houston know that Conroe is open for business and builders and developers are going to be invited here, they're just like any other economic driver. We have a hospital or a medical school move to the area, we're all clapping and praising. And with a developer, I mean, they bring a tax base. I mean, your number one ways that we pay for our fire and police are through
No, absolutely.
retail sales tax dollars and then real estate taxes.
There's a reason why it's the fastest growing city, right?
We all live in homes. We all like to eat at restaurants, and all that was originally developed by a developer. So,
Right.
it-
No,
it's-
I agree.
It's part of growth.
I mean, you've got the Johnson Development Company out here, and they have wonderful things. You have the Howard Hughes Company out here as well, and they're doing a lot of great development that are building affordable homes. I know myself, I live in Wood Forest, and those townhomes are sold before they're bought.
Sure.
I mean, before they're fully constructed. They already have, sold signs all over them, and they're building those probably in 6 weeks
Yeah,
per
yeah.
per townhouse, pretty fast.
Well, you mentioned,
And they're selling, and
you
they're
mentioned-
doing well, and it's because it's a safe community as well, and
Sure.
people are looking for that.
You mentioned Wood Forest, Larry Johnson, one of the largest developers in the country and most successful. You mentioned Woodland Hills, which is owned by Howard Hughes Corporation, which is one of the largest developers in the country. Both of those communities have 22 and 24-foot wide roads, which are wonderful. They're cute. They're quaint. They got plenty of room. The concern was brought up, and it was maybe we did not discuss it enough, and that's probably what's the problem. And I'll take the blame for that. But the discussion was that you have a fire truck that
Right.
necessarily can't fit down the street when a Super Bowl party's going on, and you got cars parked on both sides of the road. So do you up the ante on the size of the roads and keep with the norm, or do you go where construction's going? And I think it's something simply that could be solved by some no parking signs.
I know that when one vehicle parks on our street, nobody can get through. One vehicle, because they're not supposed to, but they do. I had trouble backing out of my driveway today because there was a car parked on the street behind me. And I have a little car, and I was able to do that.
Sure.
But so if there were a emergency vehicle, such as a fire apparatus or that, they would probably have to plug in from down the street to get in, which is doable. And how often does it happen? I guess too. It's the what if kind of things. Anyway, just curious. Just thought I'd bring that up, and you have some good remarks
Yeah.
on that.
And the same with the setbacks, the tree ordinance that was implemented.
tree ordinance, yep.
That was a hot topic, and nothing's changed. There's still a 30% canopy. As you see, we're planting trees all over the community, which I think looks wonderful. And
Trees are great.
it's beautiful. But what they did is they changed it to where you necessarily don't have to put all your trees up front and on the side and the back, to where you could conform and bring those together and make a small park-like setting. This new community that they're discussing out on 105 with the Signorelli Company, there's going to be a 22-acre park right there at the entrance of the subdivision that's green space, and that wasn't part of the development guidelines. That's just, if you watch, people develop what communities want and what their citizens want. So at the end of the day, the market and the demand of the citizens will tell you what kind of product you need to be putting on the ground.
Well, and it's aesthetically pleasing too, and people will enjoy that. They like the trees. They like seeing it around there. But no, it doesn't have to be all over the place. Just designated areas, possibly.
What's happening? We're talking about these homes like there's some smaller homes, but we're talking houses right now. The new low end home in Conroe on the east side of the freeway is 220,000. The new low end home on the west side of the freeway is more like 280,000. I don't know, and all we're trying to do is be able to drop that minimum to where
Yeah.
we might be able to sell a house for 180,000 to a young family,
Sure.
and in turn
Make it more affordable.
it creates jobs and improves your school systems.
Economic development.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So what other projects do you have coming forward that you know of with the city?
My background is in economic development, real estate, construction. So that's what I know.
Oh, yes,
I'm
you
not
do.
good at everything,
Yep.
but hey, I'm good at one or
That's
two
your
things.
skill set
That's
you
my
bring
skill
in.
set.
Mhm.
And from day one, I ran for council because I wanted to help recruit companies to this area for the reason that right now your average income in Conroe is about 65 grand. Your average income in our sister community, the Woodlands, is about $125,000.
Yeah.
So big gap there. Well, when you have good jobs in a community, your kids have jobs, so they stay in the community, and good jobs in turn, you have good schools, and you have a good tax base, you have good infrastructure, good roads, good fire and police. So Conroe, looking back, companies look for a couple things when they're looking to relocate. Number one, they're looking for quality of life, which is Conroe's got it. I mean, we got 160,000 acre national forest, we got a 30,000 acre lake. The whole ETJ is about 330 square miles.
And
We've
of course,
got
downtown Conroe.
downtown Conroe is wonderful. We got the new airport, the tech park, the freeway.
Right.
I mean, this
There's a lot.
It couldn't better. I mean, it's the easiest sell, one of the nicest place to live
Absolutely.
in the world, as far as I'm concerned. So we got that covered. We covered the arts. You've got the Crichton, the Owens Theater here. You guys are doing some wonderful things in downtown. The dining, all that's coming along. What else do we need? We needed a good employee base. Companies are looking for where they can get the employees. There was a tech park built here to recruit tech
Nice.
jobs and data jobs and higher income jobs, which
Mhm.
we've got a good industrial base of jobs. We've got a lot of entry level jobs, but we need some more higher income jobs around here. Good diverse community. And you look right now, why do tech companies go to Austin, Texas? They go to Austin, Texas because you have the University of Texas that provides a student base for their companies to grow. Right now, what's happened in Conroe, Lone Star College has been doing a wonderful job. Just recently, you've heard announced the new medical school that Sam Houston State is established here at the old Camp Strake at Grand Central.
Mhm.
That's going to bring higher income jobs to the area, and we're going to be able to provide rural doctors for a lot of our smaller counties and communities in Texas. Wonderful attribute to society in general. And thirdly, something you'll see hit the papers here in the next couple months is we've got another major four-year university. I'm talking a Ivy League type institution that's going to start a campus here in Conroe.
Really?
They're going to start here in the downtown Conroe area
Huh.
originally, and we're offering four-year programs, data technology, education, nursing, and aviation, to mention a few. After that's done, what's done with Sam Houston, the new school I'm referring to, and
Mhm.
we'll give you the
Mhm.
name in the future, and Lone Star, hey, we've got the employees here. So now
Right.
any company in the world can come to Conroe and say, hey, Jody, you know what? I need some help training my
You
employees.
planted the seeds.
We're going to have the employees there. And then besides that, what are young families for? Young families, when they get out of college and they decide to start having little ones run around and they want to have a little Bill and a little Ann, they start looking at, okay, well, I'm bringing in, average, me and my wife together are bringing in $90,000 a year. Where can we get the most bang for our buck? In the last 5 years in America, the statistics say that the housing costs have gone up 30% because of local ordinances, minimum lot requirements, elevation requirements on buildings. Local cost on construction, we can't do anything about that. Commodities, steel, concrete, we can't do anything about that. But we can make it more easy to build a conservative, traditional family homes in this area. And that's the key. Once you get these young families moving here, what do? They're going to put little Bill in our school system, and they're going to put Ann in our school system. And eventually, 10, 12 years down the road, your community brings up the value of the jobs in the area and brings up housing as well. These homes that they're buying for $220,000, what's happened in the past, if you predict 10 years from now, that home's going to be worth $280,000. What are they going to do? They're going to take that $60,000 in equity, and they're going to go upgrade. It's the American way. So we're just rebuilding our community and trying to provide jobs for all Conroenians, not just a
I
certain
love
area
your
of town.
passion. Your
Thank you.
passion is really catchy because you do know your subject matter and you are engaged and you do want to make this the best place to be, the best place to live. the city of Conroe?
We spend $70,000 on studies. I go to a lot of TML events where we get educated on what's going on in the rest of the country, and there's a big push right now from a gentleman that has you can Google it. It's called Strong Town USA, but that's what he's discussing is decreasing the amount of infrastructure, decreasing the amount of concrete to where we don't have to upkeep that 30 or 40 years down the road, because we're in an economic boom right now. But our kids and grandkids, it might not be like that 40 or 50 years from now. So we need to take care of them and look in the future.
Take care of the
And
foundation.
that's where everything we've been learning as new council members, that's all we're doing is implementing what we've learned. And anytime you have change, there's always going to be a little squeak, So.
That's right. That's right. So talk briefly about the strategic plan for downtown.
Strategic plan, what I see in short, we need to get more rooftops in the downtown area. When you have rooftops and you've got millennials running around that have good jobs and you've got baby boomers running around that have good jobs, they eat, drink, dine, and go to your place here locally. So I compare downtown Conroe to Houston 15 years ago. Had a wonderful central business district, a lot of businesses, a lot of jobs in the area, had a wonderful nightlife, had a lot of good clubs and restaurants, but nobody was living down there. And one thing that worked for the city of Houston, and we're considering implementing here, is they did a tax incentive and a rebate to local developers, those good old developers, to come down here and start building housing. If we had $190,000 to $250,000 townhomes available right here within walking distance of downtown, do you think those would get some traction?
I think they'd be hot.
And that's
Definitely.
it. And that's what's coming. We need more rooftops here. We've got everything. The infrastructure's here.
Mm-hmm.
The Woodlands, one of the nicest master plan communities in the world. Wonderful neighbors. But they built downtown. We've got original downtown. These millennials, they don't want your modern American businesses anymore. They like the Conroe
Authentic.
Coffees of the world, the authentic business. Absolutely.
Yeah, genuine,
So,
the real thing.
it's coming. We just
The history.
we need some more rooftops in downtown, and I think we'll put together a plan to make that happen.
Well, I'm excited about it.
And anybody in government, we're not going to make it happen. It's going to be the taxpayers, the entrepreneurs, the capitalists.
And it's not
That's
going to
who's gonna
happen
make it
next 2020. It's going to be over 10 years, 20
Oh,
years,
absolutely.
something like that. But you're not going to go anywhere if you don't have the plan. So now we have the roadmap of what needs to be done. And when Nancy McKeska was on here a couple of weeks ago, before I took that trip, she was talking about some of the changes and things that they're already working on. I have a copy
Oh,
of
you got a
that.
copy?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've read it a few times. It's great. And there's always new things you can go back and review and see again. But she
They
was
did a
talking
good
about
job.
some changes on 105, just east of 45, and things that are already starting to happen.
Yeah,
So
you saw
slowly and surely.
the new esplanade they put in with the trees and
Yes.
bringing all the sidewalks and that area, Spirit of Texas Bank.
Oh, yeah.
What they've done over there is beautiful. The new Yellow Rose
And they're working on that,
Theater's
yes.
coming. We have set aside some funds, and we're working on Post Office Street right now, where the drainage ditch goes to make that into more walkable area and put a river walk, kind of similar to what you'd see in San Antonio, to connect the I guess the north and south side of 105
I
right
think
there.
that would be wonderful. And, more walkable trails, bikes, all those kind of things, so that it's easily accessible, that people don't have to necessarily park their cars down here, that they can have an adventure en route
Hey,
to get here.
Cars are going away. In
So-
20 years, we won't even have a car anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. Okay, I think that's about all we have time for. I have to get ready for my next guest. So we're going to take a quick break. And this is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic. And this was Jody Czajkoski, City of Conroe Councilman.
Miracle City. Thank you, Margie.
Thank you.
Since 2004, Roger Stein Chiropractic has offered spine and joint manipulation services to residents of Montgomery County and surrounding areas. Conditions treated include lower back pain, migraines, headaches, whiplash, carpal tunnel, neck pain, sciatica, joint pain, sports injuries, herniated discs, and complications from pregnancy. Roger Stein Chiropractic, led by Dr. Stacy Rogers and Dr. Brian McGee, is an integrity-verified chiropractic clinic. Call 936-441-9990 for an appointment, or visit rogerssteinchiropractic.com. That's RODGERSSTEIN chiropractic.com.
Health Center Southeast Texas is a federally qualified health center. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, and most major private insurances. For our self-pay patients, we have a sliding scale discount program available. Our health centers have qualified providers and staff striving every day to provide the best quality of care to our patients. Services offered are family medicine, behavioral health services, telepsychiatry, and pediatrics. We have 4 area locations. Look up the Health Center Southeast Texas online at hcset.com.
Hey, Montgomery County and online listeners. Thank you so very much for checking out Jazzy Vibes with Soul. What? You haven't done so yet? Well, you've got to tune in. Hi, I am the host of Jazzy Vibes with Soul, Miss CC Holmes, and I invite you to check us out every Friday and Saturday from 7 until 9 p.m., where you will get the best in old school R&B and, of course, a little smooth jazz to make it jazzy. So tune in. That's right, tune in every Friday and Saturday right here on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM, or worldwide at irlongstar.com.
What can the Better Living for Texans program do for you? You can learn how to increase your consumption of fruits and vegetables, choose foods that are relatively inexpensive and good to eat, make your food dollars last longer, prepare quick, nutritious meals, help your children learn how to eat healthier snacks, and much more. Our program is committed to helping people like you improve your health through providing research-based nutrition education in a friendly, cost-free, and relaxed environment. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
A Lone Star Community Radio is ready for the summer. If you or anyone you know is looking for summer internship opportunities, the Lone Star Community Radio is a great place to grab the mic and be on the air. The Lone Star Community Radio offers a great opportunity to those interested in learning about the radio world all year round. Be an on-air personality, talk show producer, or YouTube, TV, podcast editor. Contact the station at info@irlonestar.com or call the station's message line at 936-647-3776.
And we are back. I am Margie Taylor, your host for Conroe Culture News at Lone Star Community Radio, FM 104.5, 106.1, downtown Conroe. So what I forgot to mention in my haste is this is Martin Luther King Jr. Day today. You know, you probably already know that by now. The banks are closed. A lot of government offices are closed. A lot of businesses are closed. But of course, we're not. We're here. And there's a great festival going on right now at the Woodlands Methodist Church. And one of our favorite people to come on the show, Rita Wiltz, is there, and she is singing one of the choirs. So think about that today. Think about some of the things that Martin Luther King did, how he's been perhaps an inspiration to you, and get involved in your community because he was all about that as a good, strong leader. So my next guest here is Maria Jordan, and she has been on here several times before too, but she is with the Texas Familias Council. And I wanted to discuss with her things that are relevant to her and community diversity and things she has going on for 2019. So welcome, Maria.
Well, thank you. And I guess, I don't know if it's too late to say.
Okay, we're unplugged. Yeah, but Dick to the rescue.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Here I am. Is it too late to say Happy New Year to you?
No, it's all
The
good.
first time I've seen you this
That's
year.
okay.
So, yeah.
Yes. And we've known each other for many moons.
Yes, a very long time. And yeah, there's lots going on. 2019 has started off, had beautiful red blood moon last night.
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful.
And yes, today is Martin Luther King Day. And obviously, that's a very important day to recognize not just community leaders, but our story as a community, as a very diverse community, still struggling to try to find equality and address the issues that plague every society or every community. So my MLK quote for today is, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?"
That's right.
Right?
Exactly.
And I mean, I think that very simple quote really speaks to the faith of that man, and really for all believers and people who maybe are struggling in their spiritual growth. It really is about what our purpose here is and how we're reaching out to our brothers and sisters in need. And so, yes, today we honor Martin Luther King and his courage to speak up and to lead. And he was an imperfect man, but I think that also speaks to all of us. We're all imperfect. We're all struggling. So a lot of the issues that I'm seeing today in our communities is there has been a lot of division along political lines. I think it's a consequence of growth and change. Our generations are changing. So our older, greatest generation and baby boomer generation are going into their golden years.
Like me.
Yeah, well, I'm right on the cusp. I'm an Xer, but so I'm kind of sandwiched in between. But it does give us a time to reflect on what are we leaving behind for those behind us, right? And right behind my generation is the most diverse generation ever in American history. And I think that sometimes can make a lot of us uncomfortable. What does that mean? That we look different, that we come from different backgrounds. A lot of us new Americans have come from different parts of the country, of the world, bringing different perspectives into our culture in America. And that can seem a little unsettling for a lot of people. So I think that we're seeing the consequences of that played out at all levels. The missing piece for me is the lack of dialogue. And I speak to this consistently when I'm talking to my local Latino community, my young communities, when I'm talking to my professional colleagues. We've really lost the art of dialogue. And never before, I believe, have we needed it more than at this point of transition between generations, between a very young, diverse population that hasn't maybe had those long roots in this country, that are needing the help of our elders. So there's a lot of bridge building we can do there. And my Familias Council has been dedicated to try to walk alongside communities that are disadvantaged either because of poverty or because they're new to this community. And so I try to connect those resources and help guide their success, because I really believe that every human spirit deserves a chance.
And you help them identify their strengths to empower leaders within their own community.
Yes, because whether you're a newcomer to this country or whether you're second or third generation, you may have come from a broken home. You may have come from a home where there was addictions or abuse or whatever the situation is. And it is very easy for people to get lost and feel like they don't have a purpose or something to contribute. I believe that the human spirit always has something to contribute in this world while we're here. And so and that's not just being, a overly positive, cliche sort of thing. I mean, I really, truly, spiritually believe in that. So I work very hard with the organizations in this community to stay focused on that principle and guide newcomers and guide people that are looking for a place to fit in and provide their voice. I think innovation comes from diversity, okay, and adversity, actually. So both of those can create amazing, new ideas to old solutions.
It keeps you going forward.
Yes, absolutely.
One of the quotes I know that Martin Luther King had was, something to the effect that if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. I mean,
Yeah.
just move forward.
Yes.
Go forward.
Yes.
And that kind of speaks to what you're saying right now.
Right.
And inevitably there's going to be change. You know,
Yes.
different people, different ideas, different whatever. But it's all about community diversity
Yes.
and making it happen and communicating and listening.
And, you know, I don't know why even just that word diversity in some circles has become like
bad word.
word.
Yeah.
I mean, that's troubling to me because I guess it's in the way you interpret it or your sensitivities to that word. But it should not be a threatening word. It should be a word that provokes new ideas, that provokes bigger thought, because we're always learning. I don't care if you're 90 years old.
You are.
You're always learning. And diversity provokes us into looking at someone else's perspective and another journey, you know, in the bigger story. So diversity, I've always been a believer in how it does create new ideas and, you know, really drives us forward, like what you were saying. So the council this year, I've just met actually with my committee on emerging communities with a lot of the people that you have worked with sit on that committee with me. And we've decided that we're going to work the first part of the year on reconnecting resources because there's a lot of new organizations and we have colleagues that are doing work in Montgomery County that are from Houston or other areas and that are wanting to connect with the community here. So we're going to have our first meeting of the consortium in March, late March. And I will be inviting our area resource professionals to that to give them an opportunity to connect with each other, learn about each other's resources, and have some open discussion, some honest discussion on what are some of the issues that they're seeing in the communities that haven't been addressed. Mm-hmm.
So, do you have a new community that you're working with?
Well, I've still been in East County,
right?
Because I've been here long enough in Montgomery County that I've established some really strong relationships with partners. So I personally may not be in a community. I worked for one like Deerwood, the Deerwood community. I was in there for 8 years.
Yep.
I still have partners that are working closely with them, but at some point I have to move on because there's so many different communities that are needing different, support systems.
Mm-hmm.
So East County for me is kind of a priority because of the rate of growth and development out there.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But we're still seeing a lot of growth in South Montgomery County, and the Willis area is also experiencing growth. So I'm here and there, another issue that we're going to be looking at this year is nurturing local leadership and among our young, diverse populations. I've always kind of touched on that. I'm very big on women's leadership, but I also want to see our young, diverse community have mentors and have guidance in developing their voice.
So how would someone get involved in helping you, supporting your programs?
So from a professional perspective, I invite people to attend our consortium meetings. We have them only twice a year. So if you don't make one, there'll be another one in the fall. But I believe they're very, very substantial in providing information and connection and an open forum to have dialogue on serious issues. And secondly, contact me, obviously. TexasFamilias@outlook.com is my email. And if there's something that you feel like you're called to help in mentorship or in helping with disadvantaged communities, reach out to me. And I definitely will try to connect you with one of the projects that we have going around in Montgomery County.
I always have a passion to want to do more.
I know,
to help you more.
Well, it's in your blood.
So.
I don't think you ever get away from it. I've tried. I try to kind of. I mean, I think your the way you're using your talent is perfect in getting the word out. But sometimes having your hands in the field, so to speak, there's really it's just in your blood. It's in the DNA.
Right.
And so I'm constantly always called back to it, even if I get pulled in other directions. I just have to accept that. That's just how I'm made.
Right. I get it. So quickly, because then we have to bring in our third guest here.
Yes.
Thoughts on the wall.
Okay. So that is a huge issue, obviously. The government shutdown is as a result of a breakdown in dialogue among our top leadership. And frankly, the immigration issue has been a problem for decades. And it's not a problem because it can't be solved. It's a problem because people dig in and refuse to come to the table of compromise. Look.
Communication?
Yeah. Hello. We are a nation of immigrants. And that is, for a young nation, we are a young nation. Talk about innovation. That's where each group has really spurred growth and change in our country is by thinking of bringing ideas from other parts of the world and making it purely American. Okay, so it doesn't matter where a person is coming from. If they're coming with that hope, with that dream, talk about Dr. King's dream. The immigrant definitely fits into that. And so this breakdown in communication is really about fear for me. Fear that too many immigrants are going to change who we are. Too many immigrants. And I think that over many years, what I've seen is that when the public doesn't feel that their leaders are speaking clearly to them, that they're not speaking honestly to them about what the reality is, people get nervous and uncomfortable and afraid. And so they start to look for a scapegoat. They start to look for, a reason to shut down. And I think that's why we are here. So I'm gonna put the blame on our leaders, frankly. I think local leaders need to go into immigrant communities and speak to them directly. They need to speak to all their diverse populations so that this part of the discussion is had and we can all then come to the table and realize that we may not agree fully on every issue. But the fact that we have, families split up and, all this nonsense, it's unnecessary. It really is. The solutions are there. You need more immigration judges. You need more interview officers on the border. You need more technology, to stop human trafficking and the drug flow. But you cannot deprive a human being of his dignity or his humanity. We just can't do that as a Christian nation. So we have to have some honest dialogue on this, and we have to hold all of our leaders accountable to speak directly to us and honestly and respectfully about who we are as a nation going forward. What is our bigger vision? And what are the solutions? They're there. They are there. So $4 billion, $5 billion, $6 billion, whatever. Do we need more physical walls? Maybe in some areas, yeah, urban areas where it's harder to monitor, the flow of people. But I'm a proud Texan, and we have a very long history of working. This is a multi-billion-dollar economy that we have with Mexico, for example, that is completely reliant on our ability to flow back and forth, the commerce between these two nations. And it's always been that way. It's always been that way before the Alamo, before all of it. So this is an old story. We are just, for some reason, hung up right now because we've lost the ability to communicate.
It's all about communication.
Absolutely.
Everything
Yes.
is.
Yes, and those strong leaders like the Martin Luther Kings are the ones that step forward and have the boldness to actually confront the issues head on. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but it has to be.
It's a very relevant topic today,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, I'm so glad you came on today.
Yes.
We could talk for the whole hour
Oh,
about
I
this.
know. Well, this is a big
okay,
issue.
so this is part one. Part
Yes.
two, we'll hold it off until maybe end of February, March before your consortium.
Okay.
How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful. And hopefully between now and then, there's some resolution at the national level that we can touch
I hope
on.
so.
Yes. I'm really
It's already been the
concerned.
longest shutdown ever.
This
So-
is not acceptable for our country. We can do better.
Okay, so this is Maria Jordan, and she's TexasLatinoLeadership.com, and your email again?
TexasFamilias@outlook.com.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Margie.
We'll be right back, and I'm Margie Taylor.
Statistics show that 1 out of every 6 Texans struggles with food insecurity and hunger. And many people don't eat enough fruits and vegetables every day. The Better Living for Texans program is here to help you learn how to make healthy menu choices, save money at the grocery store, prepare quick and delicious meals, get more good nutrition in your day, and get more physical activity. Classes are fun, friendly, interactive, and free, and taught in English and Spanish. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Since 2004, Roger Stein Chiropractic has offered spine and joint manipulation services to residents of Montgomery County and surrounding areas. Conditions treated include lower back pain, migraines, headaches, whiplash, carpal tunnel, neck pain, sciatica, joint pain, sports injuries, herniated discs, and complications from pregnancy. Roger Stein Chiropractic, led by Dr. Stacy Rogers and Dr. Brian McGee, is an integrity-verified chiropractic clinic. Call 936-441-9990 for an appointment, or visit rogerssteinchiropractic.com. That's RODGERSSTEIN chiropractic.com.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
Hello, we are back. Conroe Culture News, Lone Star Community Radio, downtown Conroe, FM 104.5, 106.1, and also Facebook Live on Conroe Culture News. So today, our third and final guest today is Nora Coulter, and she is going to talk to us about how you can get help with eating disorders. That's something that people don't really talk about, but actually, I just had somebody ask me about that today, ironically, a doctor, and if I knew of somebody that works with people. So, Nora, tell me a little bit about yourself, how you got involved in this, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, I'm recovered from an eating disorder myself.
Okay.
I suffered with one for about 30 years of my life. It's one of those diseases that, unfortunately, can be very socially acceptable and very easy to hide, but it can also, and often does, just take over your life. So once I recovered about 15 years ago, I started thinking about wanting to do something to give back because I knew what got me to the place of reaching out for help. And I began by becoming a moderator on an eating disorder support site where it was international, and women from all over the world came and sought help, and we get feedback from other people who had been through it and been recovered.
Is that very helpful when everybody can come together and get different
It
ideas?
is. It is. And it's a lot less intimidating. Oftentimes, the first step for someone with an eating disorder is to reach out through a support site of some kind rather than taking that very scary step of going to a doctor or going to a therapist. And so as I started thinking about how to give back and what I wanted to do, I decided the first step was going to be to work with a national organization, which I have, which is ANAD, which stands for Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders. So it's a national nonprofit that educates and provides support to communities in regard to eating disorders. And
that's all different eating disorders?
All different eating disorders, anorexia, bulimia, binge eating, and all the ones that run underneath those. Those are very specific, but typically those with eating disorders tend to run, they don't necessarily meet the medical definition of it. For instance, you can have anorexia and be a healthy weight or even be above weight, and most people think of anorexia as someone that's very emaciated.
Mm-hmm.
Bulimia, you have a lot of subsets of that where people, instead of just purging, they'll purge through exercise or in other ways through laxatives. And so it covers the whole gamut of anyone with an eating disorder. And so through ANAD, I've opened a chapter here in the Woodlands and have started a peer support group. We meet twice a month right now. It's on Tuesdays. And we meet at 6 o'clock at the South Community Center by the library in the pavilion.
On Robbins?
Yes.
Okay.
And so the goal is to just, be there to either offer supplemental support for those who are already in therapy or those who are just beginning to reach out, and for those who don't have a means right now to pay for therapy, is to offer something to them so where they can get some support and support through people who are in different stages of recovery.
I think it's very important. I was very interested in having you talk about this when I met you because I have never heard of another place available for people with eating disorders around here. So I think it's very relevant and fits the need of the community. It's just a matter of getting it out and letting people know that it's there, because it is a cry for help, and it would be sometimes intimidating to go to a physician or something, whereas it's so much easier to talk to other people that have been there, done that, right?
Yes, exactly. And it is, a lot of people will start out as well, not even sure if they have an eating disorder. They know they have a problem, and they know it's impacting their lives. And, a lot of times it will impact how they socialize, because they'll want to avoid situations with food, whether it's because, they tend to want to restrict food, or they're afraid of overdoing it with food, or they're afraid not just being able to control themselves. And you'll see somebody just start to pull back from life a little bit and start avoiding family situations and social situations where food is a part of it. And with the eating disorder, unlike something like alcoholism or drug addiction, you can't just abstain from food. You have to learn to live your life.
To work within the boundaries.
To work within the boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what a lot of people also don't understand is that it is a very serious mental illness. It has the highest fatality rate of any mental illness, both because of medical complications and due to suicide rate.
Mm-hmm.
So,
have you worked with any of the schools? Have you talked to
I
any
have
of
gone
them?
to one school. I went to Montgomery High School. Their psychology club invited me in.
Nice.
And I went and I spoke to them. They were a fantastic group. And I am in the process of reaching out to the other high schools. I've been reaching out to local therapists, and they've been fantastic and are excited about having this option. And in a couple of days, there is a treatment center that's in St. Luke's. It's called Eating Recovery Center, ERC, and they offer outpatient and partial outpatient or intensive outpatient. They don't offer inpatient services, but I'll be meeting with them to see how we can team up and kind of work together.
This is going to grow. This is
That
going
is
to
my
really
hope.
grow. So when did you start this, implement this?
This has just started in October, right
Okay,
around
so it's
Halloween.
fresh.
It is fresh.
Okay.
It is fresh.
Well, we will get the word out definitely and connect you with people then that will also share, and so that people will have that resource, because I think it's very important. You know it's important. That's why you
Yes.
started this, for people to know that there's something available.
Yes.
You can put it online in many different places of when you meet. You can for free. You can also put it in, say, the local news for free of when you meet, the Courier, the Villager, all of that. Those are different sources. But of course, the best way is telling other people, one-on-one relationship building
Right,
as well.
absolutely. And I can
So-
say I've not gone anywhere with any group and talked about this where somebody doesn't know somebody who needs help.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a mother, a sister, a brother.
Yeah.
So we're out there, and you just need to reach
So,
out.
second and fourth Tuesdays of the month at 6 o'clock. What time?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. I thought I heard you say that. South County Community Center. You can just show up.
You can just show up. If you can look online, if you can find my information, if you want to call or text
And
me
we have
beforehand,
this on there.
you can.
Yeah,
but
and we will share it again as well. So that's any eating disorders. You're also a member of MCABW. They can connect with you that
Yes.
way. Are there any other organizations that people might see you at?
I do a lot of networking, and I've been kind of out there, but MCABW has been my main one.
Yeah, and they have a luncheon tomorrow at
Yes.
Incredible Pizza. It's 11:30 to 1. So check in, go visit with Nora, and this information for ANAD, is that how you pronounce
ANAD,
it?
yes.
ANAD, with the eating disorders group, anorexia nervosa, and associated disorders, will be on Conroe Culture News. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the MCABW luncheon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
This show is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic, and that's all we have for today. Until next week, we will see you later. Have a great day.